Hi guys, my name's Connor. I'm a science fiction, political, and philosophy nerd, Marine Corps and law enforcement veteran, a never Trump Republican / real Republican, which I can't articulate, but we'll do that later. Right now, I'm breaking something down for you. It's going to be the Destiny versus XQC debate about the Charlie Kirk assassination fallout. Now, XQC is a French-Canadian large video gaming streamer who is now a gambling streamer, and he has a lot of clout, he has a lot of money, but realistically, I think he creates terrible content. He's friends with Destiny Bennell II, Destiny Stephen Bennell II, and so as a result, they're going to fight, and we're going to watch it, and I'm going to break it down if there's anything real and substantive in there. Let's take a look.
The thought that this is okay to do, and
Who
will
is
do
green?
that.
There are not large figures on the left.
Does that all the time.
X. Give me an
They
example.
cash in the W.
Who
Good
on the
cheaters.
left?
This is.
This might actually be like a screaming gorilla throwing poop at the wall. I'll take content suggestions besides this. We'll watch a healthy chunk of it in order to start the segment, but if there's another debate that is less stupid than this, then maybe we'll do it.
People demonstrating their right to freedom and
Gavin Newsom, absolutely. You're such a ghoulish fuck. Gavin Newsom absolutely never said that. The next guy that you see dying, please don't pretend that you give a fuck, okay? Play the clip a few times, get some laughs, go and don't pretend you actually give a fuck about any of this shit. Because you guys are the problem. It is your fault. It is your fault. People are doing Asmongold are the worst.
I am the most consistent
You're not consistent.
Ever
yes, I agree.
I am so
consistently what you're advocating for is extinction on one side, and you're pretending there's some morality in it because you're not affected. That's all you're doing at the end of the day.
The language you're using is crazy, but I think it's awful. I think
they're so brave. Wow, so brave. It's so
Yes, I'll collab with IRI.
Brave of you to call me out. Good job. Nice.
What's up? What's up?
Hi, what's up? I'm just watching you streaming and memeing.
Okay, what did I say that set you off this time?
Okay, here's my issue. All right.
Here comes.
I like YouTube better than Twitch. The discoverability is just better in my opinion.
Have you heard of Prisoner's Dilemma before?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna act like I'm well versed, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I heard the exact example. It's like good. Yeah, it's like gotta do it. He's gonna do it. I gotta do it. It's like this gamified. No.
Yeah. So the issue is that over the past 10, 15 years in the United States, conservatives have been infinitely ramping up the violent rhetoric over and over and over again. But every time it happens, the casual centrist crowd, so the Joe Rogans or the Asmongolds or people like you, seem to think that they're not doing this at all. And all of the violence is only coming from the left.
Well, and I have never portrayed my audience ever like that. And I've never postured myself like that ever.
Okay. Do you agree that most of the violent rhetoric right now is coming from Donald Trump and the right?
As in what?
As in when Donald Trump, somebody tried to shoot at him, Biden came out and made a speech, and Biden said, everybody needs to calm down. This isn't okay. We don't shoot our opponents. But when Donald Trump made a speech yesterday, he blamed the radical left Democrats, even though we have no idea who the shooter even is.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll agree to that. Just to get into the conversation, I feel like I think it's like putting these things like that or whatever. I'm not in the field of politics, whatever, of like finding out who's more at fault or not at fault, or whatever. I don't really care about that. I didn't think the whole thing is senseless and dog shit. That's where I'm at.
Isn't that like literally the most opinion to have, though?
Yep. Because you don't know enough to condemn or care about anything else. It's baby's first political take. Tico Suave says, where can I find the debate between you and Rob? I haven't debated Rob on stream in months. On Twitter, we had a pretty big fight, but that's because he was being a bitch. I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back.
I don't think
if somebody killed somebody else and they said it was in self-defense, isn't it kind of important to figure out what the fact of the matter is before you know if they had the right to kill somebody or not?
I mean, I think now we're like going away from like
not going away from anything. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that
topic of what just happened.
I'm saying that
there's no justification of murder. It's just not. There's no.
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that if in a case where somebody kills somebody else, if somebody were to claim self-defense, it's important to know the fact of the matter, right? You wouldn't just say, oh, well, you should never kill anybody if somebody killed somebody in, we'll say, in the Rittenhouse circumstance or in some police shooting or whatever else, right? You kind of need to know the facts of the matter to have an opinion
in a scenario like that, yes. But
okay.
I don't think that we're even approaching that, but go ahead.
You don't think we're at a state right now in the United States of America where Donald Trump is making threats to states to send in the National Guard, where he's already forcibly deployed the National Guard in states and then the Marines to California, when has the feds running around arresting people in masks, when we have alligator Alcatraz down in Florida, when we've invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans with no due process, when we're showing videos of blowing up boats in the ocean and bragging about murdering 11 people who we think were drug dealers with no due process or any investigation at all, when we're talking about paying $10 million rewards to arrest foreign leaders in Venezuela, we don't think we're there yet? When we just named the Department of Defense the Department of War to show how epic it is, when we make jokes about invading Greenland or the Panama Canal.
True. I mean, half of this is memes, but somebody pointed this out earlier. MAGA will say something crazy to test the waters, quote unquote, as a joke. And if people take them seriously, then they pursue it. And then if people are like, nah, that's fucked up, that's cringe, then they're like, oh, okay, we were just joking.
When we brag about successfully bombing places in Iran.
So if I agree with you on everything like that, right?
Sure.
It doesn't take away from anything that I've said or how I've connected myself around the topic of what just happened. I think they're two separate topics.
Do you understand how infuriating it is when one side is saying this over and over and over again? We'll never back off a single point. We'll never
It's
apologize.
infuriating, but you have to be better. If you don't like what they're doing, you have to be better. Is what it is.
Okay.
Just be better.
If you and me both have a log that we're trying to set on fire, you're holding a match and I'm holding a match, would you just tell me to extinguish my match and the log won't catch fire? Does it work that way? You understand that doesn't do anything, right? It has to be both sides. It can't just be one side. If one side does it, then they just go extinct. That's not a winning strategy. There's nothing moral about that. If anything, it's immoral to do that, right?
But
This is bullshit. Nobody's talking about unilateral surrender. Steven's fucking wrong. I've already done these drawings. I think my chat already knows what it is. Yes, I already watched the Pierce Morgan debate. And I probably drew these drawings, okay? So Steven has, in my opinion, a fucked up perception of what's going to happen and what's good, okay? So what he's saying is that the worst case scenario is the genocide of other side in a civil war, I would suppose. And he's saying that the ideal world is that we avoid the civil war, but we would prefer not unilaterally surrender, so the left loses in a civil war. And so as a result, we have to stay in a position where we don't give up any tools as concessions to our enemies, because we need to stay in what he called the violence tier, but I'm calling the mutually assured destruction tier. But in my opinion, you need to do this, which is you always engage in diplomacy. And if the other side shakes your hand, you shake their hand and you work through diplomacy. If the other side brings up a gun to shoot you in the face, then you beat them to the punch and you shoot them in the face. No one is talking about unilateral surrender. If anything, I'm talking about defensive legal violence needs to be understood by the left wing. And right now, they are probably, especially the center left, is probably the most ignorant when it comes to practicing legal defensive violence. So that's the problem that I would focus on. You guys need to get comfortable. You're already good at diplomacy. So you need to maintain your diplomacy, but you need to get more comfortable with this.
for me, it's more about the use of language and dialogue and all that.
Thank you, baby.
Wait. Use of language and dialogue. Who is the most divisive political leader right now when it comes to language and dialogue?
So you want me to say that?
Somebody said soy pill versus Sitch was good. Maybe I'll watch this for like 30 minutes or whatever, wait till it spices up, break it down a little bit. But if I find that I'm repeating myself over and over again and that they're looping as far as content goes, I'll probably switch to soy pill versus Sitch because I know they have IQs above 80.
You want me to say Donald Trump? So I'll say Donald Trump.
Okay. How many times has Asmongold or you said Donald Trump needs to stop?
Well, I say this all the time.
Donald Trump needs to stop. Not everybody and the left. Not everybody and the radical left. Donald Trump needs to stop.
Yo. What we know it doesn't. That's not at all. Bro, I'm always critical of everybody's dialogue.
Donald
even the people
Trump
that you think.
if I went to during the Warsaw Ghetto Massacre, if I went in and I saw the Jews fighting the Nazis, I was like, okay, all of you guys need to chill. Wouldn't that be really retarded? Wouldn't it be really?
No, actually, weirdly enough, imagine that the Nazis chilled out, right? Imagine if you said, hey, both sides need to chill. And then the Warsaw Ghetto people were like, okay, we'll chill for a minute. And then the Nazis are like, you know what? Killing Jews is bad. Let's go ahead and not kill Jews. No, that would have been ideal. That would have been great. We would have saved endless amounts of lives in misery. So no, even with Nazis, you need to be prepared for violence. You also need to be prepared for peace.
Really stupid of me to say that.
Please don't throw some like historical or political references or whatever that I'm supposed to know. Like
if I walked into a house and there was some guy was fighting against 10 other dudes who were all trying to stab him to death, and this one guy had like a knife and he was trying to fight back, and I walked in and was like, hey, I think both sides here need to stop. Wouldn't that be really dumb?
Yes, because if the 10 guys unilaterally were trying to stab the one guy, and then the 10 guys stop, but the one guy goes, hey, they just tried to kill me, and then he just walks around slicing everybody's throat, then yeah, that would be bad. So no, Steven, your analogy is not good.
If one side was constantly ratcheting up.
One side can be more morally responsible for the violence. That's 100% true. But no, just because somebody visited violence upon you that they previously thought was justified, and then now they're no longer visiting violence upon you, yeah, you should probably stop the violence and open up negotiations. So no, I don't even think this analogy works.
Up over and over and over again, and one side was constantly throwing more and more oil on the fire.
Yeah, but this point it kind of loses value, whatever, right? When it's about doing the act, though, that's the difference where it's at, right?
Why? How?
Well, I'm just saying, in this instance, somebody actually does that. They do that. Like they do the murder thing. That's no good.
Sure, but that's done, right? We want to stop future murders, right? So if we could only control one person's actions today to stop future murders, who's the one person that we would want to tell everybody to calm the the most?
Okay, so go.
The president of the United States is, I'm assuming, what he's going to say.
Go mega hard on the people that do the acts, and he's very vocal about it, instead of stirring the pot of like, no, they should be speaking about this, they should be speaking about that, they shouldn't be going around the pot. How about you be really harsh about people that do the murders and do the
fuck
weird...
that. No, what a waste of time. No, we don't elect the president of the United States for every single person in the United States to act completely free and independent of what every other person says. There are thought leaders, there are political leaders, there are leaders of movements in this country.
Yeah, Nezek says, no, he's saying that MAGA will purge libs. Yeah, that's bullshit. Bullshit. You've inspired a drawing. Thank you for inspiring a drawing. The population of the United States of America is 310 million people, and we're roughly divided up into 3 categories, okay? So let's say this is approximately a third. Let's say this is approximately a third. Let's say this is approximately a third, okay? What I would say is 55% of the right is MAGA. I would say 20% of the left is either progressive or leftist, and this is all liberals, okay? And over here is 110 million people. So here is 110. I need to make this substantively smaller. Let's go to 18. 110 million. This is 110 million. And this is 110 million. A third of the right, excuse me, a third of the people vote right wing. Okay. And 55% of them are MAGA. 20% of the left is, I'll change it to blue. Let's leave that red. Let's change it to blue. Here we go. There is no scenario in the United States of America where this 35 to 45% of people who don't like Trump but voted for him anyways, and 110 million people in the center, and like 90 million people on the left, there is no scenario in which MAGA is able to genocide all liberals and all normies who speak out against the genocide of liberals. This is fucking delusional. The closest thing that we're going to get to civil war in the United States is going to be the Irish Troubles. We're going to have some bombings. We're going to have some pipe bombings. We're going to have some car bombings. We're going to have some political assassinations. We're going to have some murders of some journalists. We're going to have all that kind of stuff. We will not have an 1864, 1865 style two armed parties civil war. That's not going to happen.
Why would we assume that every single individual person needs to be controlled and messed? Like, we would talk to the people that lead the country, wouldn't we? In that case, you don't care that Hassan says crazy shit, or you shouldn't get mad at me for making an edgy joke. Then apparently nothing we say matters. We should just go to the murderers themselves. Not to mention that's always retrospective, so we can only react to murders. We can't prevent any of them. Why is it so hard for you to just say, if Hillary Clinton or if Biden were president right now, would it be this hard for you to say, wow, Biden or Hillary really shouldn't say this shit and they should tell the left to calm the fuck down? Would you?
I think we just all know that Trump is so dumb that he's never going to do it. So we're focusing on what we can control versus what we can't control. Matthew Morton says, Destiny has done nothing but ratchet up the temperature since Kirk's passing. Us, all this political stuff is so meaningless. It's not meaningless. But what I would say is that Stephen thinks, sorry, let me go to my pictures. Stephen thinks that he is moving the left wing. As a matter of fact, I could probably redraw this. Stephen thinks that he's moving the left wing from unilateral surrender and the extinction of the left wing into mutually assured destruction through his rhetoric. But I and you are arguing that he's moving us from mutually assured destruction into the civil war category for the right wing. Whereas we should always be in the avoid category and we should always be in the mutually assured destruction category. This, when it's defensive and legal. This, when we're actually being collaborative as co-nationalists. We should never be trying to exacerbate the situation so we jump into a civil war where the right wing will be dominant. And we should never be trying to jump into a civil war where the left wing will be dominant. So I'm shit, Matthew Morton. I might not believe everything you believe, but I'm with you in that I feel like his rhetoric is counterproductive. I'm with you there.
You really have the same position?
Absolutely.
I don't believe you.
What? Bro, bro.
I don't believe you because it's such an obvious that if you get, I don't care what you get called. I don't care what you get called. In any world, it would be so obvious to an impartial observer that Donald Trump, who has stoked the flames in real ways.
No, eDreamcast, you're wrong. Diplomacy is born when both parties want it. No, war is diplomacy by other means. Wrong. War is a negotiation through violence. So no, wrong. You're conceptualizing it incorrectly.
Like pardoning people that have committed crimes for him on his behalf, in implicit ways, like inviting people to do crimes, like we invite people to the Capitol to overthrow the fucking government, and then in rhetorical ways when he's constantly making jokes about.
Shut up, Rob. Shut up. Oh, sorry. You said. I thought you said this about me, and I was going to be super fucking ass mad. Okay. Sorry, Rob. My apologies, Rob. I'm sorry, Rob. Rob with a B says, at Connor, D is ignoring the context that MAGA's goal is to cast liberals as bloodthirsty criminals. He's helping that project by not condemning the murder. He can't have that conversation. He wants a result. Sure. Okay. I did not see that D. So I read, Connor is ignoring the context that MAGA's goal is to cast liberals as bloodthirsty criminals. He's helping that project by not condemning the murder. He can't have the combo that he wants as a result, which would have shocked me, Rob, with a B, Raw with a B. That would have shocked me if you said that because, you know, I feel like we have good rapport. I feel like you understand a healthy chunk of my perspectives. So if you were saying that I didn't understand the situation and I was making it worse, then I would have been super mad. So I'm sorry for jumping the gun and not seeing your D there. My apologies.
Putting Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad and Second Amendment jokes, everything else, right? This guy should probably calm the fuck down.
I agree with all that, and I think that's dangerous language. And I am very always vocal about dangerous language and loaded.
ML Gibway says, do you think the Nazis would have chilled out though? No, absolutely not. But that's why, you know, it's speak softly and carry a big stick. It's engage in diplomacy, but always be ready to shoot someone in the face. It's the Marine Corps motto of no greater friend, no worse enemy. I'm actually trying to like educate you guys on that to a certain degree, where it's like, Yes, you need to be a nice person. You need to be a courteous person. If you see an old lady struggling to put groceries in her trunk, you need to help her. If you see children or a woman trying to cross the road and traffic isn't stopping and the crosswalk is green for them, then you need to hold up your hands on the side of the road and try to get traffic to stop so a young family can cross the road safely and not get hurt. You should always be kind. You should always be gentle. Now, that being said, the world is filled with tragedy and malevolence. And so you need to be ready for tragedy. Let's say that there's a propane and explosion and plenty of people are injured. You need to be willing and able to run into that chaotic situation and render first aid. And let's say that there's malevolence. Let's say that you encounter a situation where somebody is bullying another person, or let's say you run into a situation where somebody is trying to murder another person. You need to be capable of righteous violence. And so, no, of course not. The Nazis would not have actually negotiated in good faith with the Jews. But let's say that there was a world in which they did engage in good faith negotiation with the Jews, and they actually allowed the Warsaw Ghetto to escape the Holocaust, and hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of Polish Jews were able to resettle in America, Israel, or Canada. Well, that's obviously a preferred effect than going, oh, well, the Nazis will never negotiate. We just have to kill them all. And then boom, you have war and the entire Warsaw Ghetto gets wiped out. Right? So again, I am not telling you to unilaterally surrender. I'm telling you to be as ready for diplomacy as you are for war. That's what I'm saying. Well, in Freezy Burn, it says, imagine that the Nazis didn't chill out, but the Warsaw people did. That's what DGG is saying that I'm advocating for, and it's not. It's not what I'm advocating for. I'm not advocating for unilateral surrender. So you need to stop thinking with Destiny's brain, and you need to listen to what I'm saying to you, and you need to think with your brain. All right? Paul says, yeah, what the fuck? Give the Nazis a Pepsi. Really? Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, Pepsi, Desert Eagle. Okay. Hand the Nazi a Pepsi. If he takes your Pepsi and he says, yeah, you know what? I got a little crazy with the Jew shit. Let's go ahead and figure this out. Let's negotiate it so nobody gets killed. Then at that point, yeah, hand the Nazi a Pepsi. But if the Nazi says, you know what? I don't want your Pepsi. I want to shoot you in the face. Then go, okay, bop, bop, bop. You tried. You tried. Doobie says, yeah, maybe Destiny said something that might be bad, but what about the Hassan said about Charlie Kirk? What? Karmlock SSM German, and that would have not happened. Yeah, no shit. Guys, it's called a hypothetical. Okay. Okay. Do I need to make you a drawing for what hypotheticals are? Do you need a drawing for what hypotheticals are? You know what? Fuck you. All right. You guys are like ignoring what's being said. So I'm literally going to draw you what a hypothetical is, because apparently there are people in my chat who don't know what a hypothetical is. Okay. So here's reality and here's a hypothetical. So reality, hypothetical. So we have variable A, variable B, variable C equals result X. Okay. So let's go ahead and do like plus and minus. All right. Because you guys don't, again, you're being fucking dumb in my chat and it's very annoying. So let's say we have A plus B plus C equals result Y. Result Y. And you're like, Connor, but the variables, hold on. Result Y. I shouldn't have to draw this. You guys should be smart enough for this. We're saying, okay, instead of variable A plus B, we're doing A times B. And instead of B minus C, we're doing B plus C. We change the variables. And therefore, in a hypothetical, we might have a different result because we changed those variables. You guys understand this, right? You understand this? You understand what a hypothetical is? If you don't understand what a hypothetical is, then click back on your screen and go watch somebody else. If you don't understand what a hypothetical is, you should not be in my chat. Go watch XQC, go watch Aiden Ross, go watch Hassan Piker, go watch somebody with a middling fucking IQ who makes the world a worse place. Because if you don't know what a hypothetical is, you should not be in my chat. Okay? Did we land on solid ground there? Okay? That you should know what a fucking hypothetical is if you're in my chat? Thanks.
I'm talking about dangerous language. I'm talking about a person who's doing it. Nothing you say matters if you're not willing to call out the person doing it.
Okay, then I think I'm a pretty good actor on that front. I think people will mostly agree with that.
So
Sapien Green says the consequence of making peace with Nazis is that they're still Nazis. The analogy basically leaves a lethal problem for the future. Yeah, no shit. Guess what? There's always going to be Nazis, Sapien Green. We had an entire world war about it. We killed millions of Nazis, and there's still Nazis now. Welcome to living in a free society, Sapien Green.
I can find a single example of you saying Donald Trump really needs to fuck off with this. He needs to stop. Donald Trump, not everybody.
1,000,000%. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
The fuck is that? You have something on the case and then you can go find one. I mean,
I've never heard it before. Maybe it has happened.
Okay. So, Silver says, maybe we need a grape analogy. You walk past an alley and you see a woman struggling against some dude. You don't tell the woman to just chill out. Yeah, no shit. You run up, you separate the parties, and you say, hey, what the fuck is going on here? And then she goes, he was raping me. And he was like, yeah, I was raping her. Then you punch him in the fucking face. Okay? But let's say that they're struggling over like a cell phone. Okay? And she says, oh, well, this is my cell phone and I want it. And then the guy says, actually, this is my cell phone. I pay for it. It's a part of my family plan. She broke up with me 2 weeks ago. She refuses to return the device. This is my cell phone. Then you go, okay, guys, we shouldn't be physically fighting over a fucking cell phone. So let's try to figure out a solution that meets both parties' needs. And guess what? That isn't going to be fair to one party some of the time. But you negotiate. You engage in violence in order to stop violence, and then you negotiate. All you guys, dude, all you fucking do, and by the way, Silver's doing this too, and he's 8 feet tall, so like I can't argue with him too much. But all you're doing is you're just agreeing with Steven, and I think you're fucking wrong. You're not, I'm not even calling for unilateral left-wing surrender. I don't go, hey lady, that guy is gonna keep hurting you until he gets what he wants, so you should just unilaterally surrender. Nobody said that. I didn't say that. Pisco didn't say that. Josiah didn't say that. Hutch hasn't said that. IRI hasn't said that. Gavin Newsom hasn't said that. Nobody's fucking said that shit. And you guys are acting like anybody is saying that. Nobody's saying that.
Somewhere I've never heard you say it in my entire life. I've certainly never heard
1,000,000%.
Okay. If that is
Donald Trump, you act like I'm not critical of this guy. Like I'm associated it. Like most of what he says is a fucking brain dead. Most of the dialogues and lines of the song are like some sub-zero IQ shit.
No,
most of it.
No, you're doing it right now, and you don't even realize you're doing it. It's not brain dead, and it's not sub-zero IQ. It's evil. It's driving people to violent action. It's encouraging violence. It's inviting violence. It's not just stupid. You're downplaying it right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to.
All right, you're saying what? Soy Pill comes in at 2 hours and 20 minutes? On what content? Somebody tell me what content Soy Pill comes in on. Was it? Oh, it was the panel the other day, right? Well, we're still at 200 viewers, so I'll give XQC a shot. I'll give XQC a shot, and then probably halfway through I'll get bored, and then I'll switch over to Soy Pill.
Retail dialogue for this one particular argument. I use that as an example. I do that as a pattern of behavior. Don't retwist this as no, this is different. No. You ask me if I ever do this. I give you an example of how I do that. Don't revert back to the main topic and be like, oh, gotcha. What a stupid fucking thing you're doing right now. Like, what wrong with your IQ?
All right. Quick shill. Like the stream, share it with your friends, engage with chat, super chats if you got them. You guys were absolutely fucking insane on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. Well, I guess just Monday, Tuesday of this week, and you were insane last week. So if you're tapped out, you've already done a super chat, you've already done a membership, you got bills to pay, you got to take the lady out on a date, you got to take care of your kids, you need to buy medication for your dog, then I don't want your money. You guys have already been so fucking nice that I don't want your money. However, if you've enjoyed the content, you're kind of a lurker, you haven't really donated that much, you do enjoy the content, but you're just, you're never really vibing on throwing $5 to $10 towards the chat. I'm inviting that person to throw $5 or $10 towards the show. Okay. So if you've already donated, don't. If you haven't donated in the past, but you like the content, do. Appreciate you.
Shoulders over what? Your brain's cooked though. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just backtracking for no reason.
Who's backtracking?
You backtracking for no reason.
I didn't backtrack
Why?
because you said that Trump was. And I'm trying to tell you, it's not that he's just stupid. It's that his language, his rhetoric is leading to violence, like in a very real and predictable and obvious way.
You can't change a timeline and say, name me a thing where you've done that.
Oh my God, you guys are so fucking annoying. You're all DGG brained. Connor, by your logic, it's somehow impossible for Israel to genocide the Palestinians because they are small beans. That's bullshit. Who the fuck said that? Who the fuck said that? I don't even think that applies to any of the analogies or any of the drawings that I've been talking about. I don't even know what you're fucking talking about. Connor, by your logic, it's somehow impossible for Israel to genocide the Palestinians because they are small beans. That's bullshit. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. I have no idea what you're talking about. In civil wars, I'm trying to think about what you're saying, and I'm trying to see how not to get to the stupid one. So we stay in the mutually assured destruction variable until we get to the resolution of the civil war. This should probably say genocide, right? Because I think Steven's been using the word genocide for these two tiers. I've been using civil war because I think we can avoid civil war. But what usually happens is, let's say we go to the mutually assured destruction element of, let's say it's the American Civil War, okay? There was an element where the Confederate States did not want to concede slavery, and they left the federal government, and they attacked a federal institution in order to expel federal forces from southern lands, okay? And the federal government, for a little bit, didn't respond as violently as they could have because they were still hoping for diplomatic negotiations. So they were still in the mutually assured destruction component of this violence matrix, right? But what ended up happening was they moved into the Civil War part. But let's say that because it's Republicans, right? And the Union was largely Republican. Let's say that the right wing in the United States Civil War, they started winning. Well, what ended up happening was they had a unilateral victory over the South. And so this was the worst result for the South. But the argument is that at minimum, you should try to stay in the mutually assured destruction category. And at maximum, you should be in the diplomatic category, and you should be prepared for both. You cheering that you want to go to a left-wing civil war, no offense, guys, you're going to lose. Like on a military basis, on a martial basis, the right, like if it goes kinetic, which I'm not saying is going to go kinetic, but if it actually went kinetic and there were armed left-wing uniformed forces and there were armed right-wing uniformed forces and it was divided evenly between Democrats and Republicans, the Democrats lose 10 times out of 10. There's no fucking way. So you shouldn't even want to push us into the Civil War category because that's where you're almost guaranteed to get genocided. So fuck that. Like, you need to stay in mutually assured destruction and you need to avoid civil war. You need to listen to what I'm saying to you.
That, and now you're doing this. Like, you can't just swap the fucking timeline on me and we go, gotcha. Like,
no, I just said, do you call out Trump? And you said, well, yeah, I think I call him out all the time. I say he's retarded or something like that. It's like, it's not that he's retarded. I'm not asking you to say he's stupid.
Turo the Great says, I'm 5 minutes behind. Your knife analogy correction is bunk. Steven is saying, put down the knife. If we put down the knife, simple as. No. I'm saying, hold on to the knife. I'm saying, stop stabbing people. I carry a knife everywhere I go.
I'm saying,
okay,
you have to call out that his rhetoric leads to violence.
Yeah, I call it.
All right, real quick, important question. Cynthia says, isn't civil war preferable to mutually assured destruction? No, because you're going to lose the civil war, Cynthia.
Between dangerous language and stupid lines of dialogue and deliberately irresponsible And yes, I use those words all the time. It is not some crazy new thing for
Wow,
me.
what a fucking LARPer, Lisa Simpson. Post January 6th, we should always be in the Civil War category. Yeah, okay. You're gonna fucking lose. You're a bunch of fucking dipshit, underemployed, like overeducated, fucking 110 IQ, Discord fucking kittens, and you think that we should be in the Civil War category? That has to be the funniest fucking LARP since I've seen the Civil War LARPers on Twitter who are right wing. Lisa Simpson, liberal, you should be fucking embarrassed that you wrote that. We should always be in the Civil War category. Your fucking PFP is Lisa Simpson from The Simpsons. I very much doubt your capacity for violence.
Yeah, like what?
Okay. Do you want to acknowledge that like
I'm-
right now the right is
I
like
am-
driving up right now? The like they're all praying for some kind of like left like counterattack. They want like the right to
Yes.
assassinate somebody, right? Including Donald Trump. Donald Trump is doing that.
I see all of them, and it's fucking weird.
Not,
I
why
fucking
weird?
hate
It's
it.
not weird. It's horrible. It's terrible. What do you say Hassan is weird when he's fucking supporting terrorism? Like, why the weak language? It's not weird. It's horrible. It's abhorrent. It's irresponsible. It's insanity. It's calling for basically violence. I've seen like 20 different right wingers on fucking Twitter today on their mainstream media and alternative media platforms, all calling for violence.
Punish Toss says, hey, at Counterpoints Politics, you just said that Trump is too dumb and we need to push for what we control. Does it not scare you that the public can't ask the president to condemn violence? Yeah, of course. But that's why I voted against him. That's why I worked with liberals and Democrats during the 24 election. That's why I'm trying to push you to vote in the midterms. That's why I'm trying to push you to get motivated for the ballot box in 2028. Yeah, it scares the fuck out of me. Donald Trump is one of the biggest pieces of shit, one of the most incompetent fucking assholes that's ever held office. Yeah. Why do you think I talk about that every fucking day of the week? What?
Yeah. So I'm having a casual conversation with you, and not using the exact word that is of that nature. You act like I'm doing this deliberately, and it's
Sorry, this is stupid again. And two, that Trump is too dumb to condemn political violence. Therefore, we should just focus on the left who is smart enough to condemn it. Yeah, no shit. If your opponents are being evil, you don't become evil to destroy them. You prepare for violence. What the fuck, dude? I swear to God, DGG, my chat is smarter than you. Okay? My chat is smarter than you. You guys are fucking stupid as shit. I got the cream of the crop of DGG in Twitch and YouTube politics, and you guys are so used to outsourcing your fucking thinking to Steven that you don't think for your fucking self. It's so embarrassing. Too dumb to yeah. Okay, look right here. Look right here. Okay? Should you, as my chatter, just always prepare for violence and never prepare for diplomacy? Obviously not. Okay? Obviously not. You should be ready for diplomacy and you should be ready for violence. And by the way, you should have been doing that a decade ago. This should just be the default of humanity, is prepared for diplomacy and violence. You can only control you. You do not control this side. But if this side goes for violence, you're ready. And if this side goes for diplomacy, you're ready. You have to be flexible. Steven saying, oh, well, we're only going to talk as if we're going to conduct violence until the right wing realizes that they need diplomacy. It's a very stupid line of argumentation. I would argue dangerous argumentation. And the fact that you guys are just gobbling it up, no offense, I expect that 70% of you are fucking limp-wristed, soy-drinking, fucking never lifted a weight in your life, can't run a 1 mile in less than fucking 10 minutes, can't fucking curl more than 20 pounds. Most of you are fucking pussies, okay? Because you're Redditors. Instead of lifting weights, instead of shooting guns, instead of going for runs, instead of taking care of your community, you sit in a fucking Discord and you argue with pedophiles about whether or not pedophilia and jerking off to cartoon kids is good or bad. So don't tell me, don't jump into my chat and say, oh yeah, we should just use violent rhetoric until the right wing realizes violent rhetoric is bad, so they engage in diplomacy. You are not capable of violence. So when you start benching your body weight, when you start squatting your body weight, when you start running sub 8-minute miles, when you know how to clean an AR-15 and manage an AR-15, when you know how to clean and operate a pump action shotgun or a Glock pistol, you can get back to me and you can cheer on the Civil War of the fucking United States. But until your fucking soy limp-wristed fucking ass can bench and squat your body weight, run a fucking sub 8-minute mile, and clean and maintain firearms, you should shut the fuck up about the Civil War. You guys are unbelievable. And the fact that Steven is encouraging you is infuriating.
It's like, oh no, dude, I use the terminology correctly all the fucking time.
Matthew says, no, you just think Destiny gets a pass for anything. Is that what's happening right now, Matthew Morton, you fucking dumbass? Is that what I just said?
And people show you examples. Buddy, it's actually inside out of everybody, right? That you think that me, I'm not like this. When I'm one of the most anti-violence person you probably know of.
Being anti-violence isn't a virtue. When one side.
Because you're going to lose, Cynthia. Connor says, as someone who's 100% on board with Destiny's position, could you explain your reasoning? I feel like you're solidly in 2A territory. If you're talking about 2A territory where well-regulated militia is necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Therefore, you're allowed to engage in extrajudicial violence or extra-legal violence, and you think that you're going to win a kinetic conflict against the right, you're delusional. You're delusional. Not only do we all lose in a kinetic conflict, you're delusional if you think liberals and leftists can overcome a disproportionately well-trained militia. By the way, right-wingers are, like, I would say, I don't know, maybe 2%, 3% of our population are like veterans or active duty military. I forget the exact stats of it, but 5 to 10% of it is active duty military. If you think amongst the enlisted, meaning the guys who like kick in doors and kill people, if you think it doesn't break to the right wing 70%, 80%, you're fucking coping. If you're thinking that militias don't like 90% break right wing, you're fucking coping. So I don't know why you guys are going to the gun. You can't even lift the gun. You can't hold the gun for 30 fucking seconds. You don't have basic marksmanship skills. Why do I have DGG cheering on Civil War in my chat when they are incapable of violence? Are you stupid? What's wrong with you? I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know why you're cheering for a civil war you are guaranteed to lose.
Is doing it more than the other. What you're saying is just empty. You're better off saying nothing. You're hurting more than helping. When you come into a situation where one side is being 90% of the violence and the other side is 10%, and you're like, I just want everybody to calm down.
Correct. I want you to calm down because they're using your rhetoric right now, Stephen, in order to create propaganda showing that the left is as violent as the right. Even if that's not true, you're making their job easier. You're absolutely right.
You're not helping. You're hurting at that point. You're feeding into the delusion that the right wing wants everybody to believe that it's like either both sides. They don't even say both sides. They just say it's always the left.
I disagree. I disagree. If you make it a point, to always
yeah, Fable, you're a fucking idiot. You're like too stupid for my chat. So I mean, you're welcome to stay, but you're too stupid for my chat. If the widow wants to use it for political recruitment, why can't we make fun of the widow? Because you're helping her. You're helping her recruit. You fucking idiot. God, you guys suck. Stop outsourcing your thinking to Steven and think for yourself, you fucking idiots. Darkbag says, are you training your little buddy Destiny and shooting to protect himself when he becomes hunted? Well, yeah, truth be told, I don't think it's going to be enough, but yeah. Yep. Cynthia Boudre says, Connor, as someone who's 100% on board with Destiny's position, could you explain your reasoning? I already did. I'm behind in chat. So you guys, if you don't watch my stream all the time, I respond to my chat in chronological order. Freezy Burn says, a world where they would have chilled out changes so many things that is a meaningless hypothetical. It's a hypothetical. Hypothetically, what if they used helium instead of hydrogen in the Hindenburg? Well, then the Hindenburg doesn't happen. Well, hydrogen was more popular and more readily available and was cheaper, so they used hydrogen, so everybody's dead anyways. No shit, it's a hypothetical. Holy shit. I'm so happy I did my fucking hypothetical drawing so you could understand what a hypothetical is. Then when is the time for righteous violence, says Shock Doctor? Right now? Not right now. Like, you can engage in defensive and legal violence. If somebody tries to visit violence upon you, then you have every right to defend yourself, and you should train to that effect. But having a bunch of underemployed, overeducated, limp-wristed, unable to lift weights, no cardio fucking Discord kittens in my chat talking about how their brain for civil war is fucking laughable. That you guys are fucking funny. Mytho says, Destiny even said during the Pierce Morgan, no, I'm not happy about it. Nobody should be dying to this, but you need to sort your house out. And they just said, I don't believe you. Yeah, correct. And he's being used for propaganda for the right wing right now. All right, you guys suck. Back to the content.
Always call out whatever the side it is, whatever and to always set up business about the topic. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to fucking to conduct yourself in that way without being a virtue cup lord. What about it? It's not so.
Alexander Waters says, what is the right way for Destiny to get across his message if we presume that his vehemence is necessary into pushing the message? I don't think it's necessary. I think it's counterproductive.
How is that? I don't understand it.
You have to understand that when you say that, you're just supporting the person who's winning. It's a status
You're
quo.
a fucking idiot, Henry. You're a fucking idiot. And I swear to God that you're on notice, okay? You're on notice. I'm 20 minutes behind. If you don't engage with what I'm saying, I'm going to start banning people. Okay? I will. I'll fucking start banning you because you're too fucking stupid to understand what's being said. Steven Miller says, I want to murder and rape your family, and I have a gun in my hand. And you say, hey, Stephen Miller, rape and murder is bad. Here's a Pepsi. And then Stephen Miller says, you know what? Rape and murder is bad. I'll take that Pepsi. Then guess what? Stephen Miller starts drinking Pepsi. He decides that rape and murder is bad. Let's say Stephen Miller says, fuck you. I'm going to rape and murder you anyways. And he starts bringing his gun up. Then you take a gun and you shoot Stephen Miller, hypothetically, in the face because he's trying to rape and murder your family. It's so fucking easy. It's unbelievably easy. And if you don't understand what I just said, you are too stupid to be a part of my community. Henry Tepp. So saying that diplomacy isn't going to work. Yeah, that's what the gun is for. Do you see this? This is a gun. You start with diplomacy, and if diplomacy doesn't work, you go to the gun. But you don't lead with the gun. You lead with diplomacy. And if your opponent, because you don't control your opponent, leads with violence because he has a gun, then you meet him in the violence category. If he agrees to diplomacy, then you meet him in the diplomacy category. This is not hard. And if you keep outsourcing your thinking to Steven, and if you keep not thinking for yourself, and if you keep not engaging with what's being said, I'm going to ban you from my chat because you are too stupid to be a member of the community of girl hottists. You are collectively bringing my community down with the stupid shit you're saying. So either stop being stupid or shut up.
Oh, reinforcement. If you don't realize it. If you go to Ukraine, Russia, and you're one of the people who's like, I just want the violence to stop. Who gets mad at that and who loves that? Russia loves that, and the Ukrainians get mad at that. What do you mean you just want the violence to stop? Fuck you, we've lost half our country. If you go to Israel, Palestine, you say, we just want the violence to stop. Who gets mad at that, right? The Palestinians say, we don't even do violence. That's all Israel. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, this is a straw man.
They're stealing our shit, right?
So how is your behavior a solution then? Because you're saying a lot of problems, not a solution.
The solution
how is your behavior
I can tell you, the solution is the right has to disavow their end. It's so obvious.
You don't control the right. You control yourself.
That when you look at what's going on, Donald Trump should be able to come out and say, hey, everybody, all of us, we're all being fucking insane, and everybody needs to calm the fuck down. Without saying Joe Biden, without saying the radical leftist Democrats, without even knowing who the fuck the shooter is, Donald Trump should very easily be able to say, everybody needs to calm the fuck down right now. He can't do that. They've never, not only do they not disavow what they do, he constantly forgives it, and the whole right constantly make it.
Yep. Henry Coe says, I respect and agree with your view, but I feel like for some Latinos, they are currently going through the non-hypothetical already. We still feel safe because it's not us. I agree with you. Henry Coe, you didn't say anything I disagree with. I agree with you that I feel secure in the United States of America because I am a Northern European citizen, heterosexual male. I agree with you. As a matter of fact, we did like a racist drawing earlier. I don't know if you were here because I was over on Valor Media Network. VALOR Media Common Spelling Network Common Spelling. And if you're not subscribed to that, then you should be subscribed to that. But I did a drawing that's very racist, showing how some Hispanics and some Asians are token right-wingers because they're rich enough or middle class enough or conservative enough in order to be considered honorary whites. But realistically, the left wing is made up of left-wing white people, but also shitloads of Hispanics and shitloads of blacks. And so the truth is that if you are a non-citizen Hispanic person, or you're a Hispanic person who has non-citizen family, then you can feel like the right wing is gleefully visiting violence upon your people. And while I don't think murder is the solution to that problem of the state visiting violence upon you, I do understand it logically. So enjoy my racist drawing of current American demographics. Enjoy it. We do have a fuckload of people here, so I'm going to go ahead and chill. We got 250 people. Like the stream, share it with your friends, engage with chat, super chats if you got them, memberships if you got them. Also, I am live on Valor Media Network, VALOR, Media Common Spelling, Network Common Spelling, and I'm supposed to be live there right now. We were breaking down a GunTuber segment, and the stream got taken down for whatever reason. I don't know why. It said that it was terms of service, but I already challenged it. So if it gives us a community guideline strike, I'm going to challenge it again because there's no fucking way that I said anything. Now, maybe there was somebody fed posting in my chat. I have no idea. Don't fed post in my chat. And I expect my moderators, I expect my wrenches to delete and ban anybody who is advocating for violence in my chat. We can talk about violence. We can talk about political violence. We can talk about the hypothetical civil war. We can talk about the way that we should approach rhetoric. We will not be advocating for any extrajudicial or extra legal murders within my community. I will not tolerate it. So do that fucking somewhere else.
Excuses for it. They don't know anything that they do.
Great. Agreed. And does that fix the problem?
No, but
Beef Supreme says, no, the Nazis exterminated my family but missed my grandma. I won't imagine a world where the Nazis spared the ghettos. What the fuck? I can't. I won't. What? What do you not understand what the hypothetical is? You're saying I exclusively live in reality. Okay, good for you. But do you understand that you can imagine an alternative reality where variables are different? You understand that you can imagine a reality where Hitler wasn't attacking Jews, he was attacking exclusively Roma? You can imagine a scenario where he's not attacking Jews, he's attacking exclusively, I don't know, fucking Mormons or some shit. So you're saying, like, because reality is so harsh, I can't imagine an alternative reality. What are you saying? Can you picture an apple in your head? When you think of an apple, can you hold, because I can you hold, like, can you see a red apple in your mind's eye and create a picture of it and see it in your mind's eye with your eyes closed? Can you see a red apple? Because if you can't, you might legitimately have like some like sensory processing issues. You might actually have like apparently there's like vast swaths of the population that cannot imagine things. But I think that's stupid. Henry Tepp says you can't negotiate with the evil on the right, the narcissistic Trump, the techno-feudal Peter Thiel, white nationalist Musk. Which of these needs a Pepsi as a good charity will change them? None. Okay, Henry Tepp, fuck you. You're a fed poster. You're too stupid to engage with my content. Go back to whatever fucking shithole you came from, Henry Tepp. You're genuinely too stupid to be in my community. So go join somebody else's, you fucking fed posting piece of shit.
But it's better for both sides to be violent than to just sit there and endure the violence, because that just leads to a total eradication of your side.
So
No, it doesn't. I've already drawn this as well, so I'll go ahead and bring it up again. There are zero situations. There are zero American realities in which, not that one. Did I not save it yet? There are zero scenarios, and I think Steven is being reckless with his rhetoric. I kind of don't want to talk to him right now because I'm so fucking pissed off that I'll just take out the anger that I have on DGG. I'll take it out on him. But genocide in US is not possible. There is zero situations in which 55% of the country decide to genocide 110 million and 45 million of the right wing goes along with it and 110 million in the middle go along with it. There's zero scenarios. You know what also decreases the likelihood that the 55% of the right wing will be able to genocide 110 million people is if you start training with firearms for legal and defensive violence. I seriously, you guys are fucking dunce. Dunce. You're dense. You're dense, and Steven is making you worse. Gray says, can you draw what it would feel like if you didn't eat breakfast this morning? Please help and thank you. No. Imagine an apple in your mind, please. Tell me whether or not you can actually picture a red apple in your mind and get back to me.
Do you make it a point for you? Let's say, because if you're going to hold people to a standard, you have to hold yourself to the same standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you make to denounce people that use bad language, the fucking leftist radical fucking dog shit call for violence? Do you make it a point for you to call these people out there when they do this shit? Do you... Yeah,
correct, Beef Supreme. Can you imagine a world where the Nazis didn't kill your family? Or are you physically incapable of imagination? What are you saying? This is like, you've been here for a while, so I'm not trying to like really go hard at you. But what are you saying? Because something is super serious, you can't imagine an alternative reality? What the fuck are you saying?
Is that what you said on it? Do you actually do that?
Generally, yeah. Less so now, though. Not when the Republicans are doing it. I think it's immoral to sit there and hand wring on the left. Now my
Newman Axe for $5 says, I love hypotheticals. Well, I love you too. Thank you for the super chat.
Statement is, I don't think anyone on the left should say shit about it until Donald Trump does.
So for everybody, it's no.
Sorry, one more. August Puig says, hey, so before the stream died, I asked, what was your 7 AFD candidates dropping dead within 13 days of each other? If they're over the age of 60, I don't give a shit. If you want me to care about it, you need to find me some evidence of foul play. So, you know, some poison, some shooting, something like that. If they're all over the age of 60 and they died of natural causes, I don't think I care. The world's a weird place. Now, if you said that, like, oh, yeah, they were receiving death threats prior to all they were doing, and they all had symptoms from this, like, they all died of this specific cardiovascular event that can be caused by this poison, then maybe I would start to, like, research it and conspiracy theory about it. But if they're all over the age of 60 and there's no signs of foul play, I don't think I give a shit.
They have to do it like that. But for you, it's not. But now it's this. But now it's that. So how don't they get that shield and that grace or that charitability? Right, what that you're giving yourself? Why don't they get to have that?
They've had that charitability for 5 years. What are you talking about? They've had the charitability for 3 election cycles, and they've done nothing with it. Even today, they will not call out their side ever. They deny it even happens. They think that Jan 6 was a Fedsurrection. The Minnesota lawmaker that just got killed.
Thank you, Runamuck Rez. I appreciate you as well.
What, like a month ago or 2 months ago, they said that person was killed by a radical leftist. It wasn't. It was conservative. Both the guys that tried to kill Trump were probably conservative. At least one of them was.
Don't do this thing.
See, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. At least admit it. At least admit it. Okay, good. Call it what you want. Call it what you want. But if you're watching me or Hassan or you or Aiden, right? Yeah, do it, dude. That's great. I know it's epic for you. It's epic. It's epic. I hope that you repeat the video of one of us getting our fucking heads blown off, and you sit here and you say you do the same both sides shit. It's such the it's the most cucked fucking position in the world. You're such a fucking loser. Holy shit.
Yeah, Boris Matev says, hey, Connor, I think Destiny's position is that there is a benefit to using based, i.e. violent and unhinged rhetoric against your enemies, and liberals should also be doing it until MAGA stops on their side. Yeah, I think that's stupid. I think it's stupid. We should probably watch the game theory video, realistically. I'll let this go for a little bit longer, and then somebody tell me the game theory channel.
Hey, you're going to say probably a Republican, but when you get mad at somebody, if somebody says, well, probably a trans shooter, what's the difference? You're making a pattern to do this shit language.
I know that you and Train like to victimize yourself all the time. Do you know what I'm perm banned for from Twitch? Hold on. What do you think I'm perm banned from Twitch for? X, you're really going to use this?
Okay. Mythos. I can see your face. And you look like a nice fella, okay? You look like the guy at GameStop who sold me video games 10 years ago. So I'm not trying to be too mean. The other side doesn't want to negotiate. About what? What are you talking about? So you're saying that if Democrats win the midterms, Republicans aren't going to step down from power and allow Democrats? Oh, shit. I have a engagement at 1 p.m., so... That's okay. That'll help me change up the tempo so you guys don't keep pissing me off. So you think that if we do midterm elections, the Democrats aren't going to be allowed to get into the House or the Senate? You think that if Donald Trump or you think that if JD Vance is not elected, if it's a Democrat that's elected, that JD Vance is going to usurp the electoral process? Because I don't think that's true. And I think that you are pretending that we are further down the pike than we are in order to justify your bad behavior. You want the moral license to do the Aldous Huxley quote, where to destroy in good conscience, to act badly and pretend that it's righteous indignation, it's the highest of moral treats, or it's the highest of moral luxuries. That's what you want. And you're not going to get it here. So you can either calm your fucking tits and stop Fed posting in my chat, or you can get banned. Just being real. Connor is afraid of tall Chad. Somebody get me a fucking ladder. Listen, dude, I'm 6'4", and Silver is like 7 foot. He's 7 feet at least. Okay. You guys are obtuse. Christian Kyle says, Destiny sees it as a surrender to continue to play into civility instead of memeing over the corpse like the right does. Yeah, that's stupid as shit. And it gives your enemies ammunition. I think we can all see that for the past, week or two. Destiny is 100% encouraging violence. I don't think he's necessarily explicitly encouraging violence, but I would agree that his rhetoric certainly doesn't turn down the temperature. Cynthia Boudre says, shouldn't you meet violence with violence? Yeah, when necessary. Legal and defensive violence. What the fuck have I said that makes it different? Joe Nathan says, counter Cotter, then what can we do back? What do you want to do back? A right-winger was just shot in the neck. What do you want to do to right-wingers right now, Joe Nathan? What do you want to do to right-wingers? Because you guys just did the tit, okay? Maybe you can argue you did that tat, all right? So Melissa Hortman, the state secretary of what? She's Speaker of the House for the State Assembly House of Minnesota. She was murdered by a right-winger on June 14th, 2025. Charlie Kirk was murdered last Thursday. So you just tatted. So right now, from a violence standpoint, you guys are equal. They did a tit, you did a tat. Now what? Now what do you want to do? Mythos says the rights leadership doesn't want us to condemn the violence. They want more battles, and it doesn't seem like the people want to keep electing them while people pearl clutching about Dems don't care. I think you're coping. Platoon Daddy for $2 says, I am a Goldwater conservative. MAGA is populist. True. True. Connor says, I know Connor is for an EU of the Americas that we can seriously consider annexing Quebec. We cannot allow future generations of children to speak like XQC. True. Big Tibbs became a member. Thank you kindly. DGG is love. DGG is life. DGG is about to give me a fucking heart attack. Alexander Waters for £2 says, I'll do what I can. Thank you. All right, hold on. I'm just going to go back to the content for a little bit because your guys' chats are pissing me the fuck off. And I am going to be talking to somebody in a one-on-one in a few minutes.
Attack my argument. Attack my argument.
Your argument is that I wouldn't call out trans people for being crazy? Remind me what I permabanned from Twitch from again.
No. I said that is not what I said. I said you're doing this probably a guy of this side, whatever, right?
We're having, by the way, that's what I call it.
But you would be against
you don't want to address
some
the
dumb
facts.
fucking rhetoric if you were saying, yo, probably a trans shooter put it like they always do. Like,
I'm not aware of.
Shield
I'm not aware. It's not a shield and a pass. I'm not aware of there being like radical trans violent groups of people. If there were, I'd probably tell them to not do that. I'm not aware of this huge movement of like trans radicalist violent people.
Runamuck Raz for 5 says, I don't always agree, but I appreciate the balanced views. I miss having center left versus center right conversations IRL. Me too, buddy. Me too.
I'm sorry, do these people exist somewhere and I've missed them? I feel like I fought with every fucking trans group on the fucking internet. Am I just missing these people?
Mythos says, wait, didn't you just say you want to stay in mutually assured destruction and move to peace? Isn't that literally what Destiny is saying just about rhetoric? Yeah, except for I don't think that Steven is having the effect that he thinks he's having. So Steven is arguing, where is it? Steven is arguing that you guys are a bunch of limp-wristed pussies who won't do shit. And so by being abrasive, he's trying to move you into the mutually assured destruction category, or the violence category versus the genocide category. He thinks that his right, like, look at your screen, Mythos, because you do have the face of a nice GameStop salesman, okay? So Steven is arguing that he's taking a red arrow and he's trying to move somebody from this category to this category. I'm arguing that we're already in this category and he's pushing us into this category. So it's a question of intent versus effect. He thinks he's doing the right thing. I think he's doing something that can have disastrous consequences.
Did you misunderstand what I said? What I said is people use these rhetorics all the time, but for you it's okay to.
Okay, yeah, Turo, you're too fucking stupid. So, somebody wrench Turo. Matter of fact, I'll do it. No. Somebody, I can't do it. I don't think I can do it. I'll find Turo. You're too stupid. Take a fucking lap. Hold on. I'm gonna take time out of my day to fucking ban you for being fucking stupid. As a matter of fact, fuck you. Fighting back is worse than being eradicated. Nice take, bro. Yeah, you're too stupid to understand what's being said. Fuck you. You don't know what you don't know how to understand things. So you're too stupid for my chat. SGM says, was it just me or did the early stream get killed? Nope, it got killed. Lethal Lance became a member. Thank you, King. Fast and Bulba says, I'll be there with nerds using nerve agents with drones. That's crazy. Hans Mayer says, that's what he got away from Destiny's logic table. Very funny. Hans Mayer, explain yourself. Connor doesn't know who or for what reason. What the fuck are you talking about? I've eaten foiled, says Connor. Consider the demographics of MAGA, a bunch of old boomers mostly. Yeah, and those boomers will fucking smoke your ass from fucking 200 yards. Jesus Christ. Dude, the January 6th crowd would beat the fuck out of any Antifa crowd. Are you shitting me? You guys are fucking big balls in my chat. You're fucking ready for civil war in my chat. Which one of you can bench your own fucking body weight? Which one of you can squat your own body weight? Which one of you has an sub 8 minute mile? Which one of you can shoot out to 500 yards? I guarantee you it's less than 1% of you. I guarantee Lethal Lance and a few other veterans are the only people who can do any of that shit, and half of them can't. Numenac says everyone will lose in a civil war. Generations will be given legacies of hatred. None will be safe forever. Yep. Mythos says, Destiny giving ammo, bro. They'll take it from random Twitter users while disregarding their leaders. There's no way to beat that without normies calling out double standards. Call out double standards. Nobody said don't call out double standards. What the fuck are you talking about? Doobie says, I've yet to meet a DGGer who looks like he can carry more than 25 pounds, let alone fight anybody. Bro. Punished Haas for 10 euros says, Connor, from my POV, it just seems insane that when it comes to your leader and president, it's he's too dumb. What can you do? He'll never condemn violence, but we should still expect the left to do so. No, we should expect all people of good conscience to do so, left or right. Punished Haas. Any man of good conscience. Joe Nathan says, Cotter, can you acknowledge that the right has been jacking off to civil war for decades now? Yep, sure can. Yeah, see, Webius Zoo says, coming from a Canadian, y'all need to calm the fuck down. Yeah. But did you see the sick UK marching band today? Biden didn't get that. Cool. All right, you guys are too stupid. And no offense, DGG. You're not sending me your best. You're really not. You're really not. Not only are you not sending me your best, where you don't understand what the fuck I'm saying, even though I'm saying it in perfect English, but you're also encouraging each other and hyping each other up into the worst behavior possible and pretending. You're the Huxley quote, bro. You're just you're the Huxley quote. Yeah. Jimbo R says, been a while. My mental health couldn't handle politics since my dog passed. Well, guess what? It's not any better, bro. No, I'm not. Mythos, you're being fucking stupid. You're being stupid. Old DGGers are different than new ones. Not ears. True. Mythos says you should be ready for violence. Counterpoints turning the temperature the same way as Destiny. Yeah, except for in my perception, the way that I understand this, Steven's rhetoric is pushing us more into this category than it's pushing us from this category to this category. Now, maybe he's right. Maybe you guys are such pussies. Maybe Steven's right, and you guys are such pusillanimous, limp-wristed soy. By the way, I drink soy milk. I love soy milk. I love almond milk. I love oat milk. I love all the milk alternatives. But I'm also 230 fucking pounds. I'm also 6'4". I also have been in fistfights before. I also know how to run guns. So you guys LARPing about being in a fucking civil war. Maybe Steven's right. Maybe you guys need to LARP with your own stupid 99 IQ brains so you actually prepare for violence. But why do I have a feeling that 99% of the DGGers in my chat are not actually going to go for a run? They're not actually going to lift weights. They're not actually going to train with firearms. They're not going to actually learn maintenance. They're not going to learn how to disassemble stuff. They're not going to learn radio comms. They're not going to engage with their real life community. Why do I have a feeling that all the people LARPing about the Civil War in my chat right now actually aren't going to do dick except for LARP on the internet? Why is that my genuine expectation of you? So fucking cringe, dude. So cringe. MD says, now listen, I disagree with Steven's takes, except I think he's aware it's not smart but extremely effective at going viral, and he wants that. Doubt it's a good decision, but it's a marketing strategy. Dude, if he's a marketing strategy, then we're good. MG says, dude, you're spurging. Okay, bye. See ya. How about this? This is for you. This is for you. Run Amok Raz says, lol, 315 squat, 425 deadlift, 275 bunch, fuck cardio, I'm going surfing and hitting people with swords. Perfect. You're already 70% more prepared than the rest of the people in chat. Bro, Redditors are jacked. I bench 210, by the way. Prove it. DM me. DM me physique or you're lying. Marlal Zoida says, base as fuck take, holy shit. Yeah. Deus Halcyon gifted 5 memberships, thank you. I have to go use the restroom before we continue, so I'm going to let XQC do this, and then I got a one-on-one. So if I lose some of you, that's fine. But let me do a summary before I go use the restroom. DGG. I know that some of you are smart. I know that some of you are fit. I know that some of you are veterans, okay? But I have half a dozen DGG people fucking LARP. Okay, bye, Mythos. This is one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard. What good is a bridge building to the center if you can't communicate to people? Trump's the problem. Why are you focusing on Destiny? Okay, Mythos, you are too stupid for my chat. Bye. You're too dumb. You're too dumb for my chat. DGG. You are disproportionately underemployed, overeducated, limp-wristed, milk-drinking alternatives, plant-based alternative drinking, soy Redditors, okay? You haven't lifted weights, you haven't run, and you haven't shot anybody, and you barely know how to run guns. You crowing for civil war is fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me. It's embarrassing to anybody who's ever actually engaged in real violence. It's fucking embarrassing, and you need to stop. Steven has his perspective that he thinks that he needs to escalate the rhetoric until the United States of America, the right wing, learns that they can't be hyperbolic all the time. I think it's a fool's errand. And I think it's morally corrupting, and I think it's poisoning your fucking souls. So I think he's wrong. I think you're wrong. Stop LARPing in my chat, or I'm going to ban you. Okay? It's that fucking simple. I'm going to leave you in the good hands of Destiny and XQC for another few minutes. Then I'm going to move into a one-on-one conversation. That's my... Steven was gracious enough to me, and other creators were gracious enough to me to do one-on-one conversations when requested. I'm going to be moving into that when this is when this segment's over.
You say, oh, probably a Republican. I think there's a pattern of behavior. It is a shit to do that. Want to know why? Because you would probably get mad, as respectfully so, right? If people said, oh, probably another trans shooter, right? You would call them out if they said shit like that, right?
No.
But okay.
It's cause and effect. People are not randomly doing acts of violence against the left for random reasons. The guy that showed up at the Pelosi household said that he got radicalized first watching Gamergate videos and then started rattling off a bunch of right-wing QAnon conspiracy theories. The people that showed up at Jan 6 were there because Donald Trump called them to be there to protest the outcome of the election because he said it was fucking rigged. The guy that just got convicted today said that he thought that he needed to make an assassination plot to shoot up 4 Democratic lawmakers because he lost his election in New Mexico. He said it's because he thought the election was rigged. These are all Republican talking words. It's not random. You're acting like any random shooter is just a random guy that does random things for random reasons. It's not the case. It's very predictable where a lot of it is coming from. The guy that mailed out pipe bombs to 12 different Democratic people, George Soros, the Clintons, the Obamas in 2018, was a QAnon or Donald Trump fan.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you're making it a side thing. So you're saying that this is not a thing that the left constantly prays and preaches this like, this act of violence, but it gives me a W. Fuck it, we're gonna catch a W. Fucking Luigi fucking is my hero type shit. You don't think this is a narrative that's constantly being portrayed all the time, and that's fine?
I don't think the Luigi stuff was good, but there aren't lawmakers on the left. You think that the left is Hassan Piker, who's an actual terrorist fuck. No Democratic lawmakers are celebrating this. You're comparing the Republican Congress and the Republican president to 11 follower accounts on Twitter called "Give Me My Hormone 6969."
Nope. In this particular case, in this particular type of problem, inaction is just as bad as action. It is just as, because you're cashing in the W when it's your side gets a kill count plus 1 kill, but it's your side that got that. Oh, I don't know what that is. It's probably a misfire. The bullet landed on his head. Oh, guys, it's probably an accident.
You know what?
Somebody was maybe celebrating and misfired his gun. Oh my God! Moving on.
Okay, sanity check. Sanity check. How many? Hold on. How many people did Donald Trump pardon for the J6 thing? It was all of them, right? How many people did Biden pardon for the BLM riots?
Brother, you're doing this presidency cocklordery because those are
called politics. Because real life isn't just the Twitter account you see.
Why are you always reverting back to what Donald Trump is doing?
Oh my God.
Bro, it's one.
True. And this is every single argument you're going to have with this argumentation. You're going to say, the other side is bad. The other side is bad. The other side is bad. Okay. You're not going to accomplish shit. You're not going to accomplish anything. You're going to make the discourse worse, and you're not going to get dick done, and you're going to increase the temperature of the world. So, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Go enjoy another one of your favorite streamers. I'll see you tomorrow.